Thank you to our Murrow Hall of Honor recipient, Bill Stevens, for that introduction. First, welcome everyone to Martin Stadium, Giesa Field, Pullman, for those watching, and obviously it's a fun day when we can introduce a new member of the Cougar family. President Schultz had a previous commitment, but we're joined by the former student athlete in the family, Dr. Noel Schultz. So Dr. Schultz. The chancellor of our Pullman campus is here, Dr. Elizabeth Chilton. Dr. Chilton. And before we jump into this, we want to make sure just want to say thank you to Kelly Kamimura. 13 years as our head coach. You've impacted countless number of student athletes. You're a pillar in our athletic department, and we're fortunate that you're sticking around here in Pullman. But if everyone can give Kelly a round of applause for everything she's done for us. I also like to thank Mitch Straub, Ann McCoy, and Dr. Shelby McKay for all their work on the search. Hiring head coaches is a critical part of what we do here at Washington State because they have the biggest impact on our student athletes. So they're with them every single day. They create an environment for them to be the best they're supposed to be, and the bar's pretty high here. I mean, I think we're all watching in awe of all of our coaches, top to bottom. As they continue to make history. I mean, we had our staff retreat last night, and just from start to finish, when you look at this year with postseasons, bowl games, we had a tennis player go as far as we've ever had in school history. I mean, our coaches continue to reset the bar with the quality of student athletes they're bringing here to Washington State. So that brings us to Coach Aagaard. She does fit the mold of who we look for to lead and mentor our student athletes. She is committed to total development of our student athletes, academically, athletically, emotionally, and socially. Her abilities as a coach, teacher, and mentor, you can see she has built an extraordinary track record as a head coach in a relatively short period of time. 7 years as a head coach, she's had 3 conference championships. She's been 4 times been a conference coach of the year. Her teams have competed in the NCAA regionals 3 times. And also, most importantly to us, she and her husband, Christian, want to be Cougs. And as we all know, this is a pretty special family to be a part of. So Christian, welcome to the WSU Cougar family. And it's my honor to introduce our 7th head coach in the history of our program, Sofie Aagaard.
Well, thank you for that introduction. It's always special when you have someone introduce yourself and you hear about what your accomplishments have been and the people that are surrounding you, and it's really special. It's a very special day today, and I'm thrilled to be here in front of all of you and to be the new women's golf coach for Washington State. Thank you all for this incredibly warm welcome that both my husband Christian and I have received from the very beginning when we started communicate to today when we're here. Thank you to President and First Lady Schultz. Thank you to Chancellor Chilton, to Athletic Director Pat Chun, Senior Staff Mitch Straub, and all the staff that's been just so incredibly welcoming to us. We are incredibly thrilled to join this strong community. We've been told about it, and now we're enjoying it and experiencing it. It's within athletics, it's within Washington State University, and also within Pullman. And we have experienced this just in a short time. This is only my second time to come to Pullman, the first time for my husband Christian. And it's clear that it's a great community. I mean, just last night when we were enjoying the staff social, we had many opportunities of gathering people that could help us move just for help, providing help and wanting to be a part of it. We have some members of the women's golf program down here, and I'm really excited to see you all. It's you, along with your fellow student athletes, that are the great reason why we're all here, why we love what we do, and why I'm always going to be a champion as a golf coach, because I love supporting and coaching and guiding, mentoring you all through your college years, but then also beyond. I am fortunate to be following Kelly Kamimura as the former coach here, and she has built such a great foundation of a golf program, and I'm just thrilled to be able to continue and build on the successes that you've already started. So I want to thank you for your friendship, for your dedication and passion to Washington State and the golf program. Thank you so much. So coming here as the new women's golf coach, I'm thrilled to see we have a great, strong golf program, great roster. We have 3 incoming great freshmen. We get to compete in the Pac-12 Conference of Champions. We have an incredible golf course on campus in Palouse Ridge. We're surrounded by passionate, dedicated, supportive staff that's going to help us become better and better every single day. It makes me incredibly excited to have all these puzzle pieces come together for the future of Washington State golf. I want to tell, when I first visited here a few weeks ago and I saw Palouse Ridge, on campus, an amazing golf course. The layout, the design of the golf course is just impeccable. My first thought was, what an incredible home course advantage we have here. To have that facility so close to campus, walking distance, but then also to get to be out there every day and practice and compete with each other. And then also, as I know, in the NCAA regionals this coming spring. I cannot wait to get to work with you all student athletes, but then also with all the staff around here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all cheering us on when we're out at Palouse Ridge next spring at the NCAA regionals. Thank you so much, and go Cougs.
At this point, we're going to bring Matt Lovelace up and begin the Q&A portion.
I'll grab you a microphone. You can stay here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Coach Aagaard, thank you very much. Nice to meet you. This is the first time we've met, so we'll try to hold a conversation. First of all, the Pullman Chamber of Commerce thanks you for your kind comments about the city of Pullman. Not officially, I just assumed that they would really like all the kind things you said about campus. First of all, I want to ask you about this because you just mentioned the golf course, which if you squint, you just might be able to see it out the windows there. You have said that Pullman reminds you of your home country of Sweden. What do you mean by that? What similarities have you drawn between the two?
Yeah, when I first came in here 2 weeks ago, flying in, landing in Pullman, one of the first things that I saw was the rolling hills. I wouldn't say I can pick out if it was wheat or what was growing, but I was growing up in a small town in Sweden, or a farm outside of a small town, and outside my bedroom window were the rolling wheat fields. So it was an immediate impact on me, just the scenery and feeling really comfortable and feeling at home in the community.
Now, you say you had only been here, this is your second time here. Your husband's first. I want to ask him what he thinks, if he's happy about the decision. But what was the appeal of WSU beyond, I mean, you sort of mentioned the recruiting class and sort of what the program had built so far.
There's so many things, and the biggest part is the community, I think. And from the very beginning, when I started communicating with the athletic departments here, and it was made very clear that we have great people that work for great people. So having great student athletes that are being recruited into the programs, but then also having the great support staff behind it. And like I said earlier, we have, I mean, it is evident to us just a few days that we have been there. We have been introduced and warmly accepted by the whole community, so it's really, really awesome.
Now, one of the reasons I'm here is to draw a little bit of your resume out. You know, I'm a professor here. I tell my students, people won't brag about themselves, so you have to bring other people in to do that for them. You are a 3-time All-American at Cal. I know you played on the LPGA circuit. You played in a U.S. Open. You actually played on the Futures Tour. I was a sports reporter. I covered a Futures Tour stop for a number of years. How do you think your success as a player has translated into what you've been able to do in coaching?
I think I see myself as a player's coach, having been in the student athlete's shoes, so to speak, having been in the situations when you might be under pressure coming down the stretch and as we say, needing to make a birdie to win the team championship or what it might be. And so I think many of the experiences and lessons that I had as a player, I hope that my student athletes will benefit from me sharing those, both the good ones and the bad ones, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, the playing background I think really benefits the teams that I'm with because of me being able to show golf shots, to give them tools in handling tough situations or such.
You mentioned needing a birdie down the stretch. I know Cal Poly you guys had a little bit of a reputation for strong finishes. Why do you think that worked? What was it about your teams that had them finish so strong in tournaments?
It's That's my secret. No. No.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the everyday training, the everyday getting better, one day better every day that you train and practice and play, and not giving up much to chance. And so I wouldn't say that all of a sudden you show up on the last day and you have a great score. I think it's a build up over time and learning about your own tendencies and having awareness and how you respond to certain situations, and having breathing tools, maybe it is, or grounding tools that it can be when you feel stressed, and then you can apply them and then build on that in competition.
There's a lot of psychology involved in there then.
Yes.
We have a good psychology department here as well.
Great.
We could use you. This was a fascinating stat that we found. And putting 2020 aside, I know COVID interrupted a lot of that. So putting that aside, your program had the Big West Freshman of the Year 4 years in a row. Is that recruiting? Is that development? Or if you had to put percentages on them, how did that come about?
Wow, I haven't thought of the percentages around it. I will say it's a great combination. I think it's about creating a team culture that attracts the right person, that attracts the right character of student athlete. And then with that also, I think a great student athlete is a coachable student athlete. It doesn't matter how good of a coach I am if I have a student athlete that does not want to be coached, right? So I think it's very much of a chemistry between the coach and the student athlete. So getting to know the recruits in the recruiting process and just finding a way to fit them into the program. So it's a little bit of both, obviously. And then, of course, there's golf skill to it.
Sure.
And so identifying the talent in competition when they're playing junior golf and identifying how that talent can potentially transfer into college golf.
I think we see in golf, golf's an outdoor sport, so we see us northern cities maybe struggle in recruiting more than others, but I want to get your opinion on how you sell the WSU golf program to recruits out there.
I can't wait, because just like I speak of the character of a player, I think having 4 seasons is an incredible opportunity for player development. Because the way I grew up in Sweden, of course, 4 seasons, and this was back when we didn't have the TrackMan simulators and all that stuff. So we had specific seasons of training, so it was really much easier to build your training program over the year based on the weather outside. And I think to recruit players here that understand the concept on the periodization of training and when to be at your best and when you can build on your skill set, and for them to understand and actually benefit from that mindset, I think is going to be really key.
Now let's talk about the postseason, because that's where we want to be here at WSU, a place you were sure comfortable. What did I see? 3 regional invites in the last 6 years at Cal Poly. What are your expectations here in terms of returning to that postseason and those NCAA championships?
Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier, knowing that we're hosting the First Step regionals next year. I think it's thrilling. I think it's just super exciting because we then have the opportunity to play and practice all year, competing and playing, qualifying and training at the course that the postseason is actually going to start next year. So, and I know, again, like I said, we have some really brilliant student athletes on the team, and with the 3 freshmen coming in as another boost, I think it's going to be really great, and I'm really looking forward to next year and playing at Palouse Ridge.
Very cool. Now I want to ask about just sort of more player development, because I know you are a certified LPGA instructor, TPI certified as well. What kind of technical expertise do you think you can bring to this team?
Great question. Technical expertise, I think it's important to have combined with your coaching skills and your playing experience. I bring my technical skills specifically to the recruiting area, where I can then identify the talent. But then also I will be available as an instructor to the student athletes that we have. And I know too, with the staff here, with Steven as our strength and conditioning coach, also TPI certified, there's I myself, coming from a background of having injuries when I was competing, it's very important to understand the balance of your training and what your body can handle, and then also combine that with the technical development and the biomechanics. So I think we have kind of it's a real great resource all over, right? And then, like I said, to identify the players, but then also to develop them while they're here.
Right. Now you also you coached with the Palmer Cup team. Now I guess maybe the simplest analogy for it's kind of like the Ryder Cup at that level, some international competition. How do you think that benefited you as a coach?
Wow. It was a great honor to be selected. I was, 1 year I was assistant coach for the international team. The second year I get to be the head coach for the international team. And so the Palmer Cup gathers 12 of the best women and men collegiate players, both on the US side and the international side. So we had the best players in the world compete against each other during this 1 week. And the experience of being around the absolute very best of amateur golf was incredible. Just to, we all do things differently, learning about how someone trains, how someone prepares, how someone competes. But then also to be the coach and figure out the way how to grab all these incredibly strong individual competitors and get them into a team. And we, on the international side too, we're challenged by different cultures, different nationalities, and different languages. And so finding a way to bring the whole team together during that 1 week for competition was really awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. Next question is probably going to appease our leadership here, especially First Lady Schultz, about academic side of things. You're inheriting a team that had, I think I saw a 3.43 GPA as a team. Hold your applause. No, just kidding. Yes, please. What are your thoughts on building not just a good golfer, but a well-rounded student athlete?
Yeah, I fully believe in the great combination of academics and athletics. Myself having a degree from Berkeley as an undergrad, and then having most recently been at Cal Poly, also another strong academic institution. The combination between the academics and athletics, I think actually you can get better in each area. The understanding how to manage your time, how to manage your priorities as a student athlete. Sometimes during the year you're going to be focusing possibly more on your sports, sometimes you're going to focus more on your academics, but understanding how to balance it and to challenge yourself in both areas. I think it goes across everything that we do to have certain goals and then understand what the process might be to get you to the goals, to achieve the goals, and then working as a team to get there too.
Final couple of questions. One, I just want to ask about your biggest thrills as a player. Any favorite moments in your career, collegiate or professionally?
Oh my, put me on the spot there. I think I was very fortunate to play for a long time with the Swedish national team, and we traveled all over the world. And in 2004, if I remember it correctly, it was the World Amateur Team Championship played in Puerto Rico, a 3-person team, and we won the gold medal for the very first time for my home country, Sweden. So that was a thrill, absolute thrill.
Wow, very cool. And ultimately, what led you into coaching from a playing career?
Yeah, I never thought I would go into coaching when I was playing, because I think when you're in the bubble of playing professional golf, you're focused on what you're doing and such. And when I decided to retire from professional golf, my former coach at Cal, Coach Nancy McDaniel, called me up and asked me, "What are you going to do now?" And she had just had her assistant coach leave for a different job, and she's like, "Please try it out. I would love to have you on staff." So we kind of said, "Yeah, I'll try it out and see what happens." And I think a couple of months in, I just found it was incredibly rewarding. I found a way to stay within the golf community competition at the high level that I really enjoy. And from then on, seeing the impact that I could have on student athletes on a daily basis and helping them thrive and have a great experience, that really caught me, and so I'm still doing it.